Well, howdy folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This week I have another sampling of ranch life for you. I delivered some more beef to some customers, had to get a bull calf in that was sick and get him doctored. And then I purchased some registered Black Angus heifers from a registered breeder in the area. So I'm really excited about that. I'm in the registered cattle business now. Anyway, thank you again for being here, and I do hope you enjoy this one. So I have 3 fairly good sized beef orders to make today. And I've also just been informed by my dad that down at his place, I've got a bull calf that's sick and is gonna need some attention. Let's see what we have here. Ooh, some steaks, New York strips. Ooh, we've got a half a brisket. Oh, and there's some burger. That's some beautiful stuff right there. Real deep, dark red. So just in case you're curious, that's what a half beef looks like. 200 pounds packaged beef. All right, so I just got done delivering some beef, and then I stopped back at my parents' place. That's where this bull is that needs doctored. So I thought I would just strap you onto my chest, this GoPro mount right here on my chest, and we'll just get this done, and you can see how it goes. I've got a little bit here. I think we'll have enough.
You think you've got 15, 18?
Yeah, should have enough. We're trying to decide if we're gonna have enough medicine for this calf, which I think we're going to. I think we're gonna be all right. Oh, and by the way, Blaine says hi. Say hi to you too, Blaine. Oh, you're a big boy. You're a big boy. Oh, and Dietz says hi too. That's Dietz. He's a cow dog. So we're actually not 100% sure what's wrong with this bull, other than he just is sick. He doesn't act right. Anyway, we're just gonna doctor him and see how he does. And if we need to take him to the vet, we'll take care of it. But we'll give him a round of antibiotics and see if that cleans him up. Dad's gonna bring the calf in. I'm gonna run the chute. So when he comes up the alley and sticks his head right here, I'm gonna pull this and make sure that the gate closes on his head. All right. So new floor and penicillin?
Yeah, I think about maybe 18 cc's of new floor.
18 cc's of new floor. So we're gonna do 10 cc's subcutaneous, not going into the muscle, but just underneath the skin like this. We'll give him another little half dose. All right, now we're gonna give him some penicillin. Let's see here, we'll go right. All right. That ought to do it. Get well soon there, buddy. How many cattle is that through this chute now?
Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands?
The chute's probably 40 years old, and it used to be our main chute.
40 years old, wow.
Before we brought it down here.
You mean you didn't have a hydraulic chute 40 years ago?
No.
Oh, wow. I don't know how you managed. But it works, right?
Still works.
I wouldn't want to run 200 head through here in a day, but it does the trick. Good morning, everybody. It's the next day, and it is cold today. We're gonna have a high of like 15 degrees today. A little bit of fresh snow falling. Lovely day, lovely day. And I'm excited to take you along today because today I'm getting into the registered cattle business. So I've got the horses in, need to get one saddled. We're gonna head down the road to the corrals where I'm picking these cattle up. And we're gonna meet the brand inspector and get all the paperwork taken care of and get these cattle home. Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? How about you? We'll take Ollie today. Ollie hasn't had to do anything productive in a little while, so we'll make her earn her hay bale today. Ollie is probably, of all my horses, she is the one that least likes to be ridden. She just doesn't like people. Never has, probably never will. But I tell you what, she is an extremely good horse. Very nice to ride. Very good with my kids. She just doesn't like it, but that's okay. She's just not a people pony. And she's really sneaky too. She's always the one that's like, when you're bringing them in, she's always trying to go the wrong way and lead the other ones to go the wrong way. She's kind of a bad influence, actually, to be fair. Gotta let this girth out 2 or 3 holes. Ollie's a lot bigger around than Kit Kat is. Kit Kat really wants to go. No, you're not coming. You're not coming. So I've been in the commercial cattle business now for about a decade, but I'm really excited to get my start in registered cattle. You might be asking yourself, what's the difference? What's the big deal between a commercial cow and a registered cow? Well, with commercial cattle, there's no way to definitively prove their ancestry or bloodlines. And you also don't have any access to any production data for those animals. Most of the commercial cattle that are raised in the US are raised for the purposes of consumption in the US market, and they go into the meat supply. They're really not intended to be breeding livestock. With registered cattle, on the other hand, that's kind of the point. So for a heifer or bull to be registered, it's required that both of their parents were also purebred and registered. And the American Angus Association maintains a database with all those individuals, all those purebred animals in it. And from that database, you can access data on each individual animal, all kinds of production data, in the form of EPDs, which is short for expected progeny differetions. And there's a whole variety of traits which these EPDs are related to. For example, there's data on calving weights, weaning weights, yearling weights, how much milk production a certain animal is likely to have, feed efficiency, and many others. And you can use that data to formulate a breeding strategy and zero in on those things and make a cow that's ideally suited for your environment, makes you more money, and yields a better product for the customer. Okay, so here we are, guys, pulling into the corrals here. Look at you beauties. We're gonna get these calves in the corral, and I'm gonna pick out 4 of them. And we'll get them branded, get them loaded in the trailer, and get them back home to my place. I'm gonna warm this bit up a little bit before I stick it in her mouth. Being a little uncooperative this morning. Come on, girls. Why don't you try going the only way that you haven't tried yet? There you go. All right, guys, so we're gonna pick some calves out. I'm really excited because this breeder is one of the best breeders in the area. This fella has been doing this his whole life. He lives, sleeps, breathes, bleeds registered cattle. Been at it a long time. Put together a tremendous group of cattle. And I've known this breeder a long time and learned a lot from him. Learned pretty much everything I know about cattle from him in ranching. The reason I've gotten to know this breeder so well is that yeah, he's my dad. Morning, Dad. How's it going? All right, there we go. I'll let these out.
Yeah,
okay. Well, I like them a lot. Those are some nice heifers. So, what's kind of the goal of your breeding program? What are you striving for?
Well, these heifers are registered heifers out of registered cows, obviously, and I've had their mothers and grandmothers, and some of them their great-grandmothers for quite some time now. So I have an idea of what they're going to do. And as time goes by, cow lines make themselves known that are better than others. That's because of a lot of different traits: production level, udder quality, feet, legs, dispositions.
So let's maybe for the viewers, let's zero in on a couple of those traits. Like, let's say feet and legs. What is the point of really focusing in on that trait in cattle?
Right. Well, if you look at that hillside, that's why good feet and legs are important, because our cows live back there in those hills. And if they can't negotiate that country reasonably easily, they don't do as well.
Right. So cattle with good feet and legs, good conformation structurally, can utilize forage better, get to water better. They're just more efficient grazers.
It's vitally important that they have good structure. I think it also can affect how they breed. So that affects fertility, and the single most important trait, I think, is fertility. It's getting a live calf off of every cow.
So structurally sound cattle travel better. A bull is going to be able to cover more country, to cover more cows, breed more cows, and utilize forage more efficiently. So ultimately, these cattle are making you more money.
That's right.
So, like, let's take another, like you mentioned, udder quality. What's the point or significance in the grand scheme of things of having good udder quality?
Well, if the udders get bad enough, a calf can't nurse a fresh udder that's full of milk. And if that happens, she may lose a quarter or two that spoil before the calf nurses them. I love to see a good udder on a cow.
Well, who doesn't love a good udder?
Everybody loves a good udder, right?
So, viewers might be curious. Explain the ear tags here, because you've got a numbering system going on here.
There are 2 rows of numbers. The top row, for instance, the top row is 1E42. 1 means she was born in 2021, E is the lettered code for her sire, and 42 is the sequence of her birth within that year. So we know who her mother is and who sired her mother when we look at the top row of that tag. And when we look at the bottom row, it says 3DJ28. DJ is the sire code for her father, and 28 is the sequence of her birth that year.
And then the green tags and the blue tags.
The green tags signifies cows that come from some original cattle that I bought from John Cotton. The white tags come from emulation lines. The blue tag is Coal Creek Angus. Orange tag is Coal Creek Angus. So when we're out here riding around and we see a particular color on the tag, we know what the source of her genetics was.
Now, you were mentioning earlier about things like ribeye area and marbling and intermuscular fat. Maybe explain a little bit how you select for that and how you can use registered genetics and bloodlines to impact the end product for the final consumer.
All of the traits we've been talking about have a heritability factor. Intramuscular fat is 38% heritable, or 4/10 heritable. That makes better eating. When you get a well-marbled piece of meat, it's going to taste better and be more
tender.
It's more tender.
Yep.
Everything else being equal,
It's got that sizzle.
You want that.
Yeah.
You want that. It's a better eating experience.
So all the cattle you raise, these registered cattle, you get ultrasound data on them.
When they're about a year old, we will ultrasound them in a couple of different places, and it gives you a visual image of the structure of the meat. It's the only way you can get it.
Yeah.
You and I can look at one, and
there's one other way you can get it, but then you can't use that animal ever again.
Then they're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I think is really cool, and what I think the viewers are interested in, is the fact that everything you're doing here with these cattle is you're breeding them for a specific purpose, and the purpose ultimately is for them to make you money and to yield a final product that is of a very high quality. You can use the carcass data to select for those traits and propagate those traits in the cattle.
Yeah. If you're looking, that's exactly what it is. If you have your choice of 5 bulls that you want to put on registered cows, for instance, you can't make up your mind, go to the carcass data.
Very fascinating. Well, I'm really excited. I love these heifers. I think they look great. Well, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we're going to do a little paperwork here, get the brand papers all in order. Then we're going to run these cattle into the chute and put my brand on them, because that's the only way you can really prove ownership and establish ownership on cattle.
I think that's what it was.
So this is my title copy, guys. This is a piece of paperwork that the brand inspector just issued, and you pay a fee and you get the seal, get this paper, and this is your title to the cattle. We have to brand these calves with my brand, and that is the final step of establishing your ownership of the cattle. I don't want to get too many in the tub here because we don't want them banging around and smashing around into each other. So I'm going to try to let some back here. Well, guys, we're not going to be able to get these calves branded today. It's so cold that the hydraulic pump is tripping the breaker, blowing a fuse here at the box. So we're just going to end up cutting my calves off, loading them up, taking them home, and we'll brand them some other time when it's warmer out. I bet that old mechanical one at the house would work today, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. It'd keep us warmer too.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a little exercise running it. Well guys, I am thrilled. I've got 4 absolutely beautiful, drop dead gorgeous little registered heifer calves in my trailer, and I'm headed back home. And what's more, the sun just popped out and it warmed up to like 16 degrees. Well anyway, thank you so much for tuning in today. Sure hope you enjoyed that one, and we'll catch you on the next one.